This happened during my first year of college, when I was living alone in a small, off-campus apartment. One night, around 1:30 a.m., I was up playing games on my PC with a couple friends in Discord. Eventually, everyone logged off, and I stayed up watching YouTube. That's when my mouse started moving. At first, it was subtle, just a small twitch across the screen. I thought maybe the sensor was acting up, so I lifted the mouse and set it back down. A few seconds later, it moved again. This time it dragged the cursor across my desktop and opened Google Chrome. I froze. My hands weren't even on the mouse. Then the cursor moved into the search bar, slowly, like someone was controlling it. It typed one sentence. Hello. My first thought was that my computer had some kind of virus, but the way the cursor moved looked too deliberate, like someone was actually controlling it. I unplugged my mouse immediately. The cursor stopped for about 5 seconds. Then it started moving again. That's when I realized something that made my stomach drop. Someone wasn't controlling my mouse. They were controlling my computer. The cursor opened Notepad. Then it typed again. You left your window open. I quickly looked over at the window in my room. It was open about 6 inches to let some air in, but my apartment was on the 3rd floor. No one should have been able to see that. My heart started racing. I grabbed my phone and disconnected the Wi-Fi on my computer. The screen froze. The cursor stopped moving. I sat there for a minute, trying to calm down, convincing myself it had to be some weird malware. But then my phone vibrated. It was a text message from an unknown number. The message said, "Why did you disconnect?" I just stared at the screen. Another message came in. "You should reconnect." I didn't respond. Instead, I stood up and walked over to shut my window. When I pulled the curtain aside, I felt this weird feeling in my chest, like someone was watching me. I looked down into the parking lot below, and that's when I saw the van. A plain white van parked near the edge of the lot. The inside light was on, and I could see someone sitting in the driver's seat, looking up toward my apartment. My phone buzzed again. Another message. Close the curtain. I stepped back immediately and shut the curtains. My hands were shaking at this point. I locked the window and turned off the lights in my room. Then I went to the living room and called the police. While I was on the phone with them, my phone buzzed again. Another message. Don't do that. Then another. You're making this complicated. About 10 minutes later, I heard sirens approaching. When the police arrived, they checked the parking lot. The van was gone. I showed them the messages, but the number had already been disconnected. Nothing ever came of it. But about a week later, after I had mostly stopped thinking about the whole thing, I opened my laptop. And on the desktop was a file I had never seen before. Just a single image. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. It was a photo of me sitting at my computer, taken from outside my window. It started with a message request on Instagram. The account had no profile picture, no posts, and a random string of letters for a username. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. The message just said, "Nice room." I didn't respond. I assumed it was a bot or someone trying to be weird, so I deleted the request and went on with my night. About 10 minutes later, I got another notification, a new message request from the same account. This time it said, "You should really close your blinds." I remember feeling a little uneasy reading that. My blinds were open, but I lived on the second floor of an apartment building, and my window faced a dark alley. There was no way someone could see inside without being right outside the building. Still, I walked over and closed them. Then I blocked the account. I figured that was the end of it. But about 30 minutes later, something happened that made my stomach drop. My laptop camera light turned on, just for a second. Then it turned off. At first, I thought it was a glitch, but when I opened my laptop, there was a folder on my desktop that definitely wasn't there before. It was called Look Closer. I didn't remember downloading anything. My heart started racing as I opened the folder. Inside was a single video file. The timestamp said it had been created just 2 minutes earlier. I clicked it. The video started playing, and it took me a few seconds to realize what I was looking at. It was my room. My exact room. The angle was coming from my laptop camera. The video showed me sitting at my desk just a few minutes earlier, scrolling on my phone. Then I saw the moment when I walked over to close my blinds. That's when the video paused, and text appeared on the screen. Good choice. I immediately slammed my laptop shut. I was breathing fast at this point, trying to convince myself it was some kind of prank or virus. But then my phone buzzed. Another Instagram message. A completely different account this time. The message said, "You should check under your bed." My entire body went cold. I stared at the message for a while, debating whether this was just someone trying to scare me. I didn't hear anything in my apartment. No movement, no sounds. Still, I slowly stood up from my chair. I told myself there was no way anyone could be in my apartment. I had locked the door hours ago. But the message kept replaying in my head. Check under your bed. I walked into my bedroom. The room was completely dark except for the light from the hallway behind me. I knelt down slowly. Then I leaned over and looked underneath. There was nothing there. Just some storage boxes and dust. I actually laughed a little out of relief until I stood up, because sitting on my bed was my laptop. Open. I was sure I had left it on the desk in the other room. The screen was black for a moment. Then the webcam light turned on again, and text appeared on the screen. Turn around. I didn't. I just stood there, frozen. Then I heard something behind me, very quietly. The sound of my apartment door unlocking.